I'm starting to get people from the community come back to me. So obviously, maybe give people a little bit of a rundown. We've been working together for, I mean, how long? 18 months? Is it that long? 12, at least 12.
I think it might be. I think you might be right. Actually, it's been a minute, man. Like we've been working together for a long time, and I mean, it's been a pleasure the whole time.
Yeah, and pretty much you came to me with a game, which, I mean, it's so different now to when we first had a conversation. It's unreal. And I get a lot of people on my streams literally come to me and say, have you tried the new version of Incarnate? It is rocking. Like it's just feeling like every time you do a content drop, it's huge. So yeah, super exciting to see where this year goes for Incarnate, honestly.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah. I remember I had somebody who helped us with, or like invested early and like got involved in the Kickstarter and stuff like that. And he sent me a message on Discord, and he's like, man, what have you guys been doing to Incarnate? Like, what are you feeding this thing? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I hadn't played in like a month or two, and then I played the game, and I was like, what is this? Like, look at all this all this stuff, all these things you changed. And I was like, hey, man, that's what you should be expecting. Like, that's what we're doing here, getting this thing as tip top and polished as possible before we get it in everyone's hands. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, so how long has the game actually been in development for? You know, if you kind of roll it back, how long have you been working on this thing?
Well, so I guess it depends on what, like, if you're saying the whole, like the universe and the general concept as a whole, it's been like 7 years, right? Yeah,
sure.
And that's that's from the first time I thought to myself, oh man, it'd be really cool to make Dungeons and Dragons meets Magic the Gathering, right? That was like,
yeah.
So, but you can't really count all that time and stuff like that. But I'd say for the past maybe 2.5 years, we've been working on what I would say is like a close version of what we would see now as Incarnate. Like you said, in the past 18 months or however long it's been, we've gone through so much iteration, because what we want to be doing is we want to make this the best game that we can. And so, we've been listening to the community. We've been continuously improving it and making it feel better and better. And then we had that transition to like, allowing people to have ownership of their characters in the NFTs. And so that added this new element. So yeah, it's been about like 2.5 years, I guess, of this, the hero collector,
Yeah, because almost you've almost kind of moved genre. So I know when we first had a conversation, you kind of moved from almost like a card collection game, almost like a Hearthstone style, or Magic the Gathering, like you say, and then it kind of moved into this hero collector model. But over the last, I'd say 4 to 5 months, it's become super exciting in terms of almost cutting edge type of gameplay, or cutting edge type of almost like a free to earn type mechanic, NFT drops, lots of cool stuff that's going into it. So what made you change direction, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's all of them have been kind of organic, right? I mean, that first transition from the card collector aspect, it just came from like playtesting. Like we were giving people the game and saying like, hey, what do you think? And they were like, oh, I really like this, but I actually really like this, the element where you can like mix up your characters more than I almost like the Hearthstone or the Magic the Gathering aspect. And so we're like, okay, well, let's lean further into that. And then we realized like the hero collector genre, like I play Raid, I played some of these hero collectors. We realized that just the model that we were building just fit, right? So then we said, okay, well, let's take all these elements, and we the same build the story in the same way, all that type of stuff. Just change the way that people interact on like a daily basis with it, right? And then finally, it was like, again, organically, we kind of got introduced into this space of player ownership, and we were like, man, this is like what we've been dreaming of since back in the day when we were you know what I mean, like since we've been playing like World of Warcraft or like any game where you spend all this time, even like a single player RPG. A friend of mine, Seth, and I used to play like Final Fantasy adjacently, right? He would play the game and I'd play the game, and it's always like, man, I wish we could like trade or show off each other's, and now with
literally a good pal of mine did that with Skyrim. Skyrim came out and it was such an amazing looking game. And we were like, we both want to play this game, but we were just both playing it in my living room, side by side, on our own PCs. Basically, he had a laptop, I had a PC, and we're just playing it individually but together because we wanted to.
That like feeling of being able to take your time and your effort, and really, I mean, we thought the interesting thing about the NFT, kind of evolution was that you can show off like what you have. Like it's cool to be able to trade, it's cool to be able to sell it, but I really like the idea of being able to like like really take ownership of all this time that you're spending in these games, right? And like it just sends me back to that, like I was mentioning, that time, the times when I'm playing Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, next to next to my buddies, just because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. So I mean, obviously the game's developed really fast in a short period of time. Talk us through some of the people you've had to bring on board to kind of accelerate at this rate and into this new space.
Yeah, so we've got our kind of core team from when we really started. We've got Sean, our CTO. He's amazing. Microsoft background. Kind of a bootstrapper. Top tier developer. We've brought in kind of like just a ton of people that helped us kind of build the structure. So we had Bjorn help us kind of architect the core Web3 integration and maybe the base architecture of the game and the back end. We had Dane, our artist. He's anything you see that comes out of
the art style is amazing.
Exactly. It's anything you see that is art style. That's all Dane. And then Dirk, our designer. So those are kind of the core guys that have been doing from the beginning. And then we've got Graham, another developer. He is he used to work for the Air Force, actually. Some really cool stuff that he's worked on. Omar, shipped tons of games. We've just been like really carefully inviting people to that kind of share the vision and have a strong experience and background in doing these games to help us kind of build it.
Yeah,
I mean, and obviously we're working with you guys, for the marketplace. We're really excited about working with the what is it, the number cool. one gaming brand I've heard back.
2021. Yeah, that's right. Insane. Yeah.
And then obviously our collaboration with AMG is so crucial for all the relationships, getting connected with you and with so many other creators to kind of spread the word. So yeah, I mean, like a lot of these projects I know are these NFT projects, they've got people that are not doxed, right? They're not out there, but we're all out there. We're not trying to hide the fact that we're working on this game. We want to share, shout it out to the world. Hey, check.
Well, that's it. It's like a lot of the NFT projects, they don't necessarily have even a fully fledged game model, or a lot of it is kind of a white paper. Whereas I think what's awesome about Incarnate is you've got a working game already. In fact, I play it. A lot of my community are playing it already and play tested it almost for that beta launch.
Yep.
I mean, why is Incarnate fun? What's the sort of things that people would enjoy from playing Incarnate?
I think,
from your perspective,
I think like so I guess people get hooked on different parts of the game. I'd say that a lot of people are going to really enjoy the kind of like tactical chess-like aspects. Your position really matters, where you move your guys, and it's deceptively simple in a lot of ways, because all you can do on your turn is you can move your guy, and you can do one ability, right? And you only have three guys on the board, not like whatever a full chess board of pieces. But each move, well, where am I going to move to? How high am I going to get up when I do this attack? Who am I going to be attacking, or am I going to be defending? Like there's and so obviously that tactical element, that's something that people, if you enjoyed XCOM or Final Fantasy Tactics, games like that, you're gonna love Incarnate, right? But
XCOM was such a great memory for me. I absolutely loved the game. And I know when I first saw this game, one of the things that attracted me to work with you guys was just like, this feels familiar and in a cool way.
But then like unique, kind of like the idea of being able to mix your characters, right?
Yeah. And the combinations of abilities coming together. In fact, I see it through your Discord on a daily basis when people are coming back saying, I've done this, and I'm like, damn, that's actually really cool. Multiple zombies blowing up together, or rift warping, and some really, really cool kind of combos from the different parts you can collect.
Yeah, some of our testers have done some stuff where I'm like, I did not think that this interaction was even possible. So wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one element. And a lot of people, love the art, but like the other thing that we're building, and we're spending a lot of time on this, is, we're working with this guy Joshua Rubin to help write our dialogue for our story. and he's just absolutely taking it to the next level. Like it's you know, we built this really cool universe, and I'm like, oh, you know, it's really cool. And then I see the stuff that he comes back with, you know, for dialogue, and I'm like, wow, I'm a terrible writer. I don't even know, you know, like this dialogue writer, right? They're kind of two different things, but he is so. I mean, people really haven't even seen this yet, right? The story that's going to be coming through. So there's that element, and then obviously
because that's really important to you, isn't it? To kind of make sure people feel the world, you know, feel the lore in the background, feel the, you know, the reason that these incarnates are battling. It's literally, it's not just a collector game to you guys. It's literally, you know, you want people to be part of the story.
It's exactly, you know, when I play a game, a lot of times, you know, some people want to see themselves in the game. Some people want to see something that they don't feel like maybe they can be in a story. And you know, for me, it's just important that when you're playing any game, whatever the game is, that you enjoy the universe that you're playing in, right? So that's why when people say like, I like this art, what they're really saying is like, I like this vision of a universe. I want to live, you know, if it's Avatar, I want to live in the you know, that mix of worlds that they've kind of created. I want that same feeling for Incarnate, and I think that, you know, we've built that from a visual style. I think, like, you know, if you like Incarnate, if you like the art, you're gonna love the story that we've kind of built around this. So that's what we want. You know, I'm excited to share that too, because that's something that we really haven't. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but we haven't gotten to share, like, well, what is the story? Who are these characters? Who are you when you're a player?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the early stuff, but I'm super excited to see actually how far it's developed in terms of, you know, bringing on, you know, specialists in this field. You know, bringing it to life will be really exciting for me as well. Actually,
get ready, man. It's I'm reading through like a 35-page dialogue, 35 pages of, I mean, because there's 105 levels. Like, there's 105 campaign levels.
Sure.
And like, you know, in the normal storyline, there's like, what, 35 or something like that, with plus the 6 bosses. But, you know, who those bosses are and how they relate to the main character, and what these mixable incarnates are, you know, you're going to get that as you go along, and it's pretty cool. I mean, of course I think it's cool, and if I didn't, that would be a problem, I imagine. But yeah, I'm really excited, you know, to see what everyone else thinks.
And I think as well, when we've spoken along the way, talking about the potential of boss fights in this game, yes. Because of the 3D board, because of the way you can manipulate height of board, you can manipulate the sort of style of terrain. And in fact, even since we had those early conversations, you've added a lot more to that now in terms of traps and, you know, towers, obelisks and that type of thing. So I think the boss fights are going to be really engaging and strategic, which draws me in as a player, as an ex-World of Warcraft player and, you know, RPG kind of player, as a passion of mine. It's really going to pull me in for those boss fights.
Yeah, I mean, like, the more time I spend doing these fights, the thing that I think, and this is kind of a testament actually to Dirk, our lead designer. I mean, we work together, you know, very, very closely to build these, but you know, I'll send that credit his way, because, man, like, when you get in the fight with, like, the Boreas boss, was literally a giant wall that's trying to crush you, you know, and it's got like this ice wall that it puts behind you, and you're dealing with those elements, and then, you know, it throws down these like little portals that if you step on them, they like teleport you to another spot on the battlefield, and they create like a copy of you that now like is an enemy essentially. Man, that fight is like, it's so intense, but it's intense in that very positive, because it's so rewarding when you get it done. You're just like, man, that was like, yeah, you know, like a raid in World of Warcraft, or like not necessarily a full raid, but like just a boss battle.
Sure.
And a lot of that is because the design is cool, and because, like you said, we have so many elements we can play with, right? We can raise the terrain, we can have different hazards, we can have different, you know, objects that trigger different things. You know, we've built this system where, you know, we can tell a story, you know, with a story, but we can also tell a story on the battlefield, and that's what people want.
For sure.
Know? Yeah.
No, that's cool. Well, I guess let's move on to the kind of free to earn and NFT side of the game, because that's something which is probably quite new to a lot of people that are listening today. So firstly, I guess, introduce people to what a free to earn game is, and what does that mean?
Well, yeah, so it's kind of a play off of this concept of play to earn, right? There's a lot of games that have come out and they say that, well, we're play to earn, but I wouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them really mean that they're paid to earn, right? You have to pay to get in, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's a fine model as well. But you pay to get an NFT or X number of NFTs, and then you can start playing or accessing all the features of the game. And so what we're saying is like, hey, we're not we have some of those same earn elements, and we'll explain that in a second, but we're free, right? If you don't want to know anything about crypto, you never want to trade with anybody, you never want to interact with the blockchain in any way, shape, or form, that's fine. You can play 100% for free, and it should be a great game. It's still a great experience. And then so
the fundamental of this is a game first, and then there's an NFT element within the game, right? So you built this as a game, which is going to be an enjoyable game to play. And some people might use it as an investment opportunity with NFTs, but that's not the primary, reason for this game, is it? That's not what the kind of the vision was when you kind of set out 2 years ago.
That's exactly right, and that's kind of the point. We found the NFT, this revolution that's kind of happening right now. We said we want to take the elements that we think are really interesting about this and then put them in the game. We didn't say like, hey, we like NFTs, let's make a game around that, which is where a lot of projects, again, not every project, but a lot of projects start with NFTs are cool, let's make a game. And we started with we have a really cool game. NFTs fit this and can allow our players to own their characters and really have fun, have fun with that element of it. So let's do that. Let's lean in that direction. And I mean, like we're all gamers, right? You're a gamer. We're all coming from gamers. Like all we want is we want the game to be as fun as possible for people. And so that's our kind of like motto. Game first is what it's all about.
Yeah, 100%. And then so in terms of the kind of free to earn, so how does that mechanic work? How does that kind of build out?
Yeah, so basically the way it works is we have two tokens. We have a creator seal, and then we have this fate token, right? And so the creator seal, you can basically earn that in the game. So you play the game, you do your daily quests, you go do X number of campaigns, or you do VP or whatever the quest is, and then you're gonna get these things called key fragments. And those key fragments, we renamed this. Sorry, seal fragments. So you get these seal fragments, and so this is not on the blockchain. None of this part right here is on the blockchain, and you can use those things for various in various shops, but you can also convert it into a creator seal. So the creator seal is that is on the blockchain, right?
Sure.
And again, this isn't something that you have to do, but if you want to make these NFTs, this is what you got to do. So then you get a creator seal, and then based on the rarity of the incarnate that you have, you'll pay X number of creator seals to turn your character plus one fate, to turn your character into an NFT. And so at that point, it's going to be like, all right, how strong is this character? What parts is it made up of? What equipment does it have on? We're gonna now lock it in as that's a character.
So you freeze it as a moment in time. It's like that is now concrete. That character is now fully formed.
Exactly. And then so at that point you can just hold that character as an NFT. Oh, and sorry, one last thing. And then when you do that the act of using that creator seal on it, you give it one or two gifts. And these gifts are something that you can only get by sealing a character, but they're not like a game breaking thing. What they are is they're kind of like they nudge your character into a certain build. Like they would say, like maybe they make your brave your one of your buff durations by +1, right? So it's like they'll be positive boosts, but they're not like 25 speed or some like stat that's gonna make your character overpowered or something.
So would you view this as almost like the hardcore PvP player is more likely to want to play with minted incarnates that have got the ability to have almost like a little bit of a stronger trait or ability?
Well, it's just like it's going to come down to like what's the team that someone's going to want to build, right? So like like some characters you might think, oh man, I wish I had +1, like I gave this example, +1 duration on this one buff. So then you might be like, well, let me get out onto the market and try to find it, right? Let me see if I can get it for cheap, and then I can sell one of the characters maybe that I built up, and essentially like trading that, right?
Yeah.
Or you can say, you know what, I can build this character. Let me build this character, and then let me just, spend the time to earn the creator seals, convert my character into an NFT, and see if I get the right gift, right? And so everyone has access to all this stuff. As long as you're playing, there's no like I said, it's free, and you just need to you can earn all the elements that you need to do all to make an Incarnate into an NFT. There's no pay in to do that. It can all be earned. Now, obviously, you can speed it up. Like in many of these hero collectors, you can speed it up by buying in for whatever. But it shouldn't. Like one of the biggest goals of our team was that we don't want this to feel pay to win. Essentially, like we want the game has so many strategic elements, right? Your positioning, like I said, the timing of when you do stuff is so important. And so what we've been doing is we've been testing it and saying, okay, well, let's give ourselves these characters and see if it makes a big difference. And yeah, it'll make a marginal difference for a really good, like you said, top end PvP player that really wants to go after it and get the top spot. But when it's coming to like, progressing your account and making and having fun in the game, it's not gonna feel pay to win.
No, sure. Okay. So I guess talk to us about the NFT drop that's due to land over the next or tell us when and when. Talk to us about that, and when's it coming?
Yeah, it's coming basically next couple of weeks. We're going to announce the officially in our Discord and on Twitter pretty soon. But basically what we're doing, these are like kind of commemorative NFTs, and it's pretty cool what we've done. So a lot of NFT projects will do a completely randomized set of X number of guys with just random traits, right? And we thought about doing something like that, but instead what we did was we said, okay, let's make 125 bespoke incarnates, like custom. Like we were going to take the time to make a cool build.
Nice.
And so we made 125 of them of varying rarities, uncommon all the way through legendary, and we gave them 2 gifts, which is a rare thing to actually get, right, in the game. And so what the mint is going to be is people can mint one or as many as they want, really, one or more of these guys, and they'll basically get like this little floating echo, which is like our randomized incarnate dropper. And that's going to show up like on OpenSea, right? And then at the reveal, when we reveal everything, like at the reveal event, all of those guys will just basically transform into whatever incarnate that they got of that list of 125, right? So you might have gotten a rare guy, and you might have gotten a legendary guy, but it'll all essentially be revealed kind of all at the same time, so people can see like what who they ended up getting. And so the thing that's special about these guys, there's a couple of special things about them, right? One is they're primal incarnates, and so this is something that we're not going to be doing this over and over again in the game. This is a one-time thing. They're going to on the blockchain forever. They'll be known as like primal, or like a lot of other projects call them like origin. We like primal felt more satisfying for us, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So they'll be called primal. As I mentioned, they'll have the 2 gifts, but also they're going to we're going to check which wallets have these primal incarnates, and then that's going to be people's access pass into the closed beta, which is coming up end of March. So
anyone who's got one of the NFT drop incarnates will have access to the beta.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And also, I mean, obviously, the rest of our community that's already been involved and has already been testing, they'll of course have access to it as well. So this isn't the only way. But then secondarily, and this is actually really cool, we're also going to before the closed beta, we're going to drop people what we're calling a primal token, which will be it could be your pass, but will be a second pass into the closed beta. So if you're holding one of those primal incarnates, you'll also be able to give it to one of your buddies or something like that.
If you want to. Okay,
yeah. So we figured like, you know, people that are psyched about the game, we want to give them that, and they'll be getting other drops, a drop of the fate, of the fate token, and they'll be getting, you know, some in-game like VIP stuff, just because, you know, like it's commemorative. It's like they're saying like, we want to be a part of the beginning of Incarnate, you know, and its journey. So we wanted to make that something special.
So once someone's got the NFT Incarnate, so will they be able to then trade that NFT on other sort of marketplaces?
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be on the Ethereum network initially, and then we're gonna be you know, we'll have a bridge over to Polygon. I don't know if we even mentioned this again. We mentioned this, but we'll be on Polygon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't talked. We haven't been talking through all these things, and then they'll show up on OpenSea. Everything on Ethereum and everything on Polygon will always all be on OpenSea. But also, we'll obviously have them on our marketplace that you guys are making for us.
Yeah,
sure. So you know, if you want to, like, the biggest benefit for like us having that internal marketplace for players is that they can see like really specific full information about the builds, right? OpenSea, you get a good amount of information about it, right? You get a lot of the metadata about you know, what parts they have, what Eternals they have equipped. But like on our marketplace, it's gonna be very granular. You can get and see like, okay, what are their exact stats? How many you know, what are the like, basically you'll have every single information and really nice filters
ultimately, yeah, we're working together on this because my team play these type of games in terms of hero collectors. So we know, in fact, I had a conversation with the team yesterday, and I was like, look, if I'm looking for an Incarnate, these are the type of things I want to search for. And you know, my development team are like, yeah, I get it. And all of a sudden they're putting in those sort of filters. So it's not just a kind of, you know, off the shelf, this is a marketplace that anyone can pick up. It's literally game designed for user experience. You know, we want people to be able to use it and say, yeah, I can find exactly what I want to find, basically.
It's essentially like the web version, a really robust web version of what we would build like directly into the game. I would just call it a part of the game in essence, right? Because people, you know, you don't have to access it, but even players that aren't interested in trading and buying and selling, it's still going to be a really useful resource, right? To go to the marketplace and be like, you know, what are the hot builds? What are people using right now? And then you can see, oh wow, that's actually a really cool combination. That's interesting. Let me try that. You know what I mean? I don't have to buy it. It's just like but I can say like, wow, that's a really interesting combination of parts and Eternals and whatever, and you know, or what is the newest meme that everybody's making this really silly build, whatever. It's just a way to be a part of that community really quickly. So yeah, I mean, obviously, of course, I'm so excited to be working with you guys on this. It's really cool. I like what I've already seen of what you guys have is really cool, and you know, it's getting better every day as usual.
Yeah, no, we're enjoying doing it as well, for sure. So I guess perhaps before we jump on to see if anyone else has got questions in the community here, give us a bit of an update on general, you know, roadmap, I guess timeframes and kind of what's next.
Yeah, so I'll say that the big milestones that are coming up right now are that this mint, right? This mint is like the first big step. That's like right now. Right now, you know, development wise on the game, we're in 2 week cycles with our testing team. We're looking to shorten those timeframes, you know, with some automation stuff like that, and we're getting closer to that. But I would say, you know, the next big milestone is this mint, as I mentioned, end of this month. And then the next big one is going to be, you know, a month after that, which is end of March. We're doing the closed beta. So, you know, there's a couple different ways for people to get involved, as we mentioned. One of them is the mint. Other ones, we're going to be doing giveaways on Twitter and Discord. So, you know, if you're interested in getting involved, obviously hop on, you know, follow us and get involved in the Discord. But I guess game, I'll talk about some game milestones because I think that some of them are worth mentioning. We just got auto up and running, so people are testing that. And I didn't. I mean, I always knew that auto would be a fun feature and would be helpful for people, but I didn't realize how much it would actually speed things up and make for just kind of an enjoyable experience. Like, I'll just eat food and watch my guys battle sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, isn't it? Because once you've beaten a level on manual, actually, you might just want to grind for a material, and you don't necessarily always want to play that through. You don't necessarily always want to kind of, be hard stuck playing that through. So actually, the auto feature I found is a huge game changer. Huge.
It really is, and this is kind of step one. So step one of this process of making kind of like the allowing players to kind of play progressive content when they're playing and not repetitive content. Like this is kind of important. It's like, don't get me wrong. I'm a grinder. I grind games like no other person. Maybe not like no other person, but I do recognize that, like you said, once you've played through, like you've beaten a challenge, you don't want to be doing it over and over and over again necessarily. So the step one is the auto. But we're actually building a step two, which I'm really excited about, and that's basically we're going to have auto complete keys, and they're going to be based on your best time. So think like I guess the best analogy is, those of you, I mean, this shows my age, but those of you who played the Final Fantasy Tactics, you kind of sent your guys off on a mission, right? And you said, all right, come back in, 5 minutes, and they'll come back with a result. We're essentially doing that. But so like, imagine, you've finished Tethys 3, you finished like one of the levels, and you just want to grind it. You want to do it 5 times. You can just say, okay, I'm, take these teams, and so they're going to be out of my roster. I can't use them while they're off doing that, but I can play the game while they're off doing those missions.
Oh, okay, nice. So you've almost got like a grind feature whilst you're still trying to develop your account further in different areas.
Exactly. So
you could be off doing PvP whilst your guys are farming up potentially more creator skills.
Yes, sir. Exactly. So you can, so the more, the bigger your roster is, the more access you'll have to that. The more guys you have, the more you can do that, which means then it gives people incentives to like make really cool, like fun, different builds. Like that was the other thing that we, from a design feature, we want that feeling of discovery. We want people to like playing and trying out different stuff. So the more characters, teams of characters you have, the more of this kind of like auto grind feature you can do, which means, the faster your account's progressing, and the more time you'll have to kind of like pick your let's say your best team or your PvP team or your progression team or whatever forward through whatever content you're working on.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the I got sidetracked on the auto.
You got excited about that one.
Excited about the auto. Okay. So other things. So we are finishing an integration on the female models, and we've been talking about this for a long time, and it was just about as hard as we thought it was going to be. But polishing it and making it look good, like as people have noticed, we've been spending a lot of time on working on like lighting and shaders and making the game just look better. So once we got in the female models, we're like, wow, the female models look really good.
Nice.
Wow, these look really, really cool. And so we've been kind of like nitpicking, but we are in the final steps of getting fully animated, fully interchangeable female versions of all the incarnates. So the way that'll work, just so people understand, when you call an echo, which is like our, if you play raid, it's like a shard, or it's the randomized incarnate maker, right? So when you call an echo, you'll get a random incarnate, and it'll be of random sex once this goes live, right? And then when you want to forge a character, you can just pick whichever sex you want. But so when but if you have a male character, it's not like we're gonna have male parts and female parts. It's just you have abilities, and then you can mix up your characters and make them look one of the two versions, whichever one you prefer. But when you get
if you get a fully formed incarnate, it will have a sex. But if you were forging your own incarnate, you choose the sex. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all that to say that. a lot of words. So let's see. I would say those are the major. I mean, the campaign dialogue is coming in. We just finished the fourth world is coming out, I guess, next Tuesday for our testers. Oh, sorry, the fifth world. Sorry, the last
fifth world.
Coming out. Yeah, the last world's coming out on this Tuesday. The fourth boss, and then the fifth boss is still in progress. We're still doing like some internal testing before we get it out to you guys. But after that, we will be basically like people will be playing, like feature complete essentially, at least for a closed beta. So obviously, I'm really excited for that.
For sure.
But yeah, I would say like things that people should keep in their heads. We've got this mint coming up end of month, so obviously you'll want to stay tuned.
How do people get the info on that? Sorry, I cut across you there. How do people going to get the info on that in terms of timings and stuff? What's the best way to kind of keep in the mix?
Yeah, I would say the easiest way is definitely Discord, right? Get involved in the Discord. We even when we post stuff on Twitter, and which we will, this is a great place for us to distribute the information. It always shows up on the Discord as well. So I would say that like the number one way is on the Discord, and we also do like giveaways and stuff like that in the Discord. So I would say that's number one, and then number two would be Twitter. Like I would say definitely follow us on Twitter. We're really ramping up kind of like saying more and kind of like ramping up our Twitter, I guess is the best way to put it. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Two. And then so like roadmap wise, like features in the future that people should be looking out for, which I think people should be really excited about are we've got this Black Pyramid competitive PvE, which is like an endless randomized dungeon that's the same for everyone in the whole community, like every single person. So what's cool about that is like let's say tomorrow we've got a new Black Pyramid. When that comes out, it will be the same for everyone in the community. So like let's say you're stuck on Black Pyramid level 30, but some other your friend has gotten past it. He can kind of like say, hey, try this. This is what I did to get past it.
Yeah, okay. Try this type of build, or
yeah. Content creators can make it, and that's on we're not 100% sure it's gonna be 2 week or a month cycles, but it's gonna be relatively short cycles, and because we're doing it randomized, it's never gonna get stale. Like it will be quite different basically every time. So that's really cool. We've got these. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the NFT death matches. Once people get involved.
This is brutal. This one,
This is so okay. So we've actually stepped we didn't go like full on like the NFT is the character is gone. So the way it works now, or the way it will work in the future is you come in like let's say it's 1v1v1v1. So 4 NFTs go in, and then 3 of those NFTs will be like unsealed. So they won't you won't lose them on your account. You still have the character, but they're no longer NFTs. So those will be removed. And then the one that wins is going to get like, some they'll get like an extra gift. They'll get a bunch of different bonus stuff. But it's going to be really exciting, right? I mean, I don't know if people in the community played hardcore Diablo, but I was definitely a hardcore Diablo player, and I've lost 1 or 2 barbs to playing PvP. So
that's the vibe. Yeah, cool. So sorry, no, Karen.
So yeah, I mean those are kind of like the major timelines. We're also going to be releasing the white paper officially. I'm having it edited right now. Then people can take a look at like the kind of like the final version, and obviously white papers are never final, but the vision of where we're going. They can see all the stuff we talked about here about the token and the creator seals and how people make incarnates. You can really get an in-depth read through on that. It talks about the whole team. So we're going to be releasing that pretty soon to the whole community. It's been in progress for quite a while, and we're finally getting it final edited. And so that should be nice. A lot of people like to read the white papers before they get involved in a project. So we'll have that. Cool. Up pretty soon.
And I know you mentioned it earlier, but Polygon's kind of the main, I guess the main crypto for the blockchain, right? What was the reason for working with those guys or choosing Polygon?
Well, Polygon is so great for so many reasons. I mean, I think we've seen like a big boost in the Matic token for good reason. But
Yeah.
Polygon, it's a layer 2 solution, meaning that we're, we get access to all to the EVM to Ethereum, but really low transaction costs.
Yeah.
And very fast. And so those are the main things. We said, well, okay, if we're going to be interacting with the blockchain has some really good benefits, and it has some things that are that can add like some I don't know,
like frustration.
Some frustration, exactly. And so we wanted to basically, Polygon basically takes away all the things that I would be frustrated about. So yeah, we're working with them. Polygon has been a great partner in just helping us make sure that we do the integration right. They're gonna be getting involved from an investment level. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us. Like I think when we originally announced it, like way back when, we said we were going to go on Polygon, and we researched tons of different options, and we just came back to Polygon is the best for our players.
It just totally works. Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, I guess unless you've got anything else you want to directly kind of talk about, Sham, we should probably open up to see if there's any questions.
Yeah, let's do it. I think last time I didn't actually end up doing any questions because I yammered on for too long. So let me shut up and let me see if anybody wants to ask some questions.
So I've got Lal Babu Singh. I guess there's a question. Let's go. How you doing, man? Lal Babu Singh, can you hear me?
The question that for how much time is the team working on this gaming project?
How long have we been working on the game?
Yes, for how long have been working on this gaming project?
Yeah, so about 2.5 years, I would say. Like I said, we've been working a lot longer. If you talk about like the core, the initial game idea and the universe, but I'd say about 2.5 years we've been working.
No, I am talking about the game which you are going to which you are bringing to the blockchain. Means when the idea came about linking it to the blockchain.
How long have we been doing the integration to the blockchain? Is that what you mean?
Yes, means how long did you thought that the game would be integrated into blockchain?
I see. How long has it been since we decided to put it on the blockchain?
Yes.
I would say that we made that decision. Hades, help me out here. I think maybe 8 to 12 months ago, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, probably about then. I'd say, and then we've been actively working on it, I suppose. Or you've been actively working on it for a good 9-10 months at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, we're gonna invite Ash on to talk. 1 second.
Ash, let's go. What's up, man?
Ash, how you doing?
Yo, what's up, guys?
That's
Figured I'd just come say hi. Obviously, super pumped. Things are pretty well. Things are going pretty well. I have a question. Can you walk us through a little bit about the game experience? I know I've seen a lot of it personally on Hades' channel covering Incarnate, but in terms of what the progression will look like for the game and kind of what you envision long-term in terms of like building into the late game, like where do you plan on building the most over the next year or 2 years, or like what are the biggest elements you still want to add to the game after it launches?
That's a great question, actually. So yeah, we basically have this like 5-phased plan essentially. So that first push is going to be in we have live PvP in kind of an MVP state and a minimal viable product state. So really having the ranking system rock solid on that. That's kind of phase 1. Phase 2 is that Black Pyramid that I mentioned. So competitive PvE. So this is where people will be able to earn our governance token, the fate tokens. They'll be able to earn those things, and obviously great in-game currency rewards. Then we plan on moving into land gameplay with guilds and strongholds. We're going to open up the level builder to our player base, which I think is going to be ridiculous. Like when we do that. But that's so yeah. If we're looking at like a year out, and then the NFT death matches. But so progression wise, I guess I'll back up for a second to progression wise. the game experience right now is pretty awesome. It starts very tight. Like you start out with 3 incarnates that everyone gets. That it's all the same, and you just kind of start building your account. You start getting through some of the normal stages, and then there's just kind of this point maybe towards the end of the normal campaign mode where we have enough options that you start feeling like, yeah, I'm gonna start really building. So because at first you're just kind of like getting your guys and then and fighting with what you have, and then around, like I said, around the first playthrough, the normal playthrough, you're gonna be like, oh, actually I can start really building. I can start customizing and trying out different builds and trying out different characters. So I would call that maybe the start of the early to mid game, and then once you have like a strong account of like level 30 to 50s. You're going to start to really like that. That's when we'll open up the PvP to players. We're not going to open up too early because, as I said, there's a lot of it's not like a steep learning curve by any means, but there's just a lot of information that people are going to want to take in. So and then once you move to having 60s, that's going to be the late to end game, and our focus is I'm a PvPer, so our focus is kind of like that PvP, but not just direct 1v1 PvP. It's that's why we have these black pyramids, and we have then we have the direct team PvP. So
I do like the fact that you're bringing in a competitive PvE, which a lot of people don't actually bring into their game, but there are there's a huge amount of the kind of RPG type player base or collector player base that prefer PvE content but don't really have that same ability to go head to head with other players in that sense. So that's quite an interesting kind of spin on this sort of genre, I think.
We thought it was super important to do that. Again, we're all WoW kids at this point, but like some of my favorite things was like competing to see how fast we could beat a raid versus other players on our server on the dungeon. And I thought that our game just really fit that mold. Like people like to build their characters, they like to build their accounts, and they don't necessarily want to have like a direct confrontation with other incarnates that are built in a particular way, like to try to one-shot somebody or whatever. But they do want to compete. So we really thought that bringing in that competitive PvE was super important to the long term.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate the answer there, Sham. I guess one quick follow-up is roughly how long would it take, would you say, especially like say you're 100% free to play, you're not spending anything on the game, how long would it take somebody playing, for whatever, a reasonable amount of time, maybe an hour or so a day, to get to the point where they're able to, engage in PvE or PvP rather, sorry.
In PvP? I'd say probably take like if you're just like super casually playing. So if you're playing, you're saying an hour a day.
I'm just trying to get a sense of like how long before that feature is open, because it sounds like that's when really the game starts to open up to me.
Right. It's just gonna be depend for a lot of players. I would say so. If you're playing pretty casually and you're having success, in the early game, we're working on making sure that's that's gonna happen. I'd say it's maybe like like a week or two. It probably wouldn't take much longer.
So pretty
than that.
Early on.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much longer than that, because the battle, like again, when we added this auto feature, like it can actually help you learn what you should be doing. Like it's kind of awesome. And so what we really like about that is, one, it speeds up like the turn transitions, but two, it actually acts as like a little bit of a tutorial without having to be in your face as a tutorial. Like you just if you don't really you don't feel like you quite get it yet, but you have the characters, just hit auto, give it a shot, see what happens, like see what the characters do, and you're like, oh, I see. I can only do this ability from this distance, or I can only do, and so what that does is that smooths out the learning curve, speeds up the time that it takes for people to progress their account early game, and should give you some time to kind of register and understand what you're going to be doing before you get into the PvP. And maybe get punished by somebody who has been playing for a long time or really understands like what's going on.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, really looking forward to playing the game when it's out, and thanks for answering my questions, guys. Really enjoyed the space so far.
Yeah, brother. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Ash.
No problem.
Okay, I think that is everyone. So look, Sham, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me and tell us about Incarnate. I was super psyched about the timeline and about the NFT drop, honestly.
Yeah, dude, thanks for having me. This is always really cool to do. I'm happy to do these AMAs, and if you guys have any other questions, get a list going, and and you guys can grill me all you want. So thanks for having me, and yeah, again, get involved in hop on the Discord if you're interested at all in what we're talking about, and get involved. Follow us on Twitter, and I look forward to seeing you guys in game.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure you follow Incarnate Game on Twitter. As he said, he's going to add all of the info as and when it comes out. But guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much.
See you soon. Thanks, HellHades. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, speak to you soon, man.
Cheers. Bye, guys.
Bye.